Good morning. You're listening to WVUD-HD2 Newark, The Basement. I'm Zach Davis, and this is Our Brief Hour, where we celebrate the poetry and prose that makes our brief hour on this earth a beautiful one. Today I'm here with my mom, Lisa.
Hi, it's always a pleasure.
And we want to look at all the ways that Shakespeare plays with sleep in his sonnets and plays. One of my professors last term, Miranda Wilson, said that Shakespeare must have had a sleeping problem because of how often sleep is a central feature in his plays and how important it is to many of his characters. So we start with an awakening, a figurative awakening. This is Prospero in The Tempest. Our revels now are ended. These our actors, as I foretold you, were all spirits, and are melted into air, into thin air. And, like the baseless fabric of this vision, the cloud-capped towers, the gorgeous palaces, the solemn temples, the great globe itself, ye all which it inherit, shall dissolve, and, like this insubstantial pageant faded, leave not a rack behind. We are such stuff as dreams are made on, and our little life is rounded with a sleep. Here in our brief hour, our revels are just begun, so come with us into the world of dreams. We go back to The Tempest with Caliban, a character who is usually referred to as a monster by all the other people in the play, and yet when he talks about a dream he had, we have to wonder if there isn't more to the story. Be not afeard. The isle is full of noises, sounds, and sweet airs that give delight and hurt not. Sometimes 1,000 twangling instruments will hum about mine ears, and sometime voices that, if I then had waked after long sleep, will make me sleep again. And then, in dreaming, the clouds methought would open and show riches ready to drop upon me that, when I waked, I cried to dream again.
This is Sonnet 43.
Sonnet 43 is almost a fever dream, where the speaker, even in sleep, is overwhelmed with the thoughts of his beloved and somewhat unbalanced.
When most I wink, then do mine eyes best see, for all the day they view things unrespected. But when I sleep, in dreams they look upon thee, and darkly bright are bright in dark directed. Then thou, whose shadow shadows doth make bright, how would thy shadows form happy show to the clear day, with thy much clearer light, when to unseeing eyes thy shade shines so? How would, I say, mine eyes be blessed made by looking on thee in the living day, when in dead night thy fair imperfect shade through heavy sleep on sightless eyes doth stay. All days are nights to see till I see thee, and nights bright days when dreams do show thee me. And this is Sonnet 61.
The speaker here is unable to sleep for jealousy.
Is it thy will thy image should keep open my heavy eyelids to the weary night? Dost thou desire my slumbers should be broken, while shadows like to thee do mock my sight? Is it thy spirit that thou sent'st from thee, so far from home into my deeds to pry, to find out shames and idle hours in me, the scope and tenor of thy jealousy? Oh no, thy love, though much, is not so great. It is my love that keeps mine eye awake, mine own true love that doth my rest defeat, to play the watchman ever for thy sake. For thee watch I, whilst thou dost wake elsewhere, from me far off, while others all too near.
Next is King Henry V in a rare moment of reflection. He's sitting alone in his camp, and musing on the stress that comes along with the responsibilities of kingship. And he compares it to the way common people sleep and thinks that the common people probably sleep a lot better, and he envies them that. But interestingly enough, given what we just heard about playing watch in Sonnet 61, Henry concludes that the value in kingship is to keep watch, to maintain the peace, to best advantage the peasants, to grant them that sleep. Upon the king, let us our lives, our souls, our debts, our careful wives, our children, and our sins lay on the king. We must bear all. O hard condition, twin-born with greatness, subject to the breath of every fool, whose sense no more can feel but his own wringing. What infinite heartsease must kings neglect that private men enjoy? And what have kings that privates have not too, save ceremony, save general ceremony? And what art thou, thou idle ceremony? What kind of God art thou, that sufferest more of mortal griefs than do thy worshippers? What are thy rents? What are thy comings in? O ceremony, show me but thy worth. What is thy soul of adoration? Art thou aught else but place, degree, and form, creating awe and fear in other men? Wherein thou art less happy being feared than they in fearing. What drink'st thou oft, instead of homage sweet, but poisoned flattery? Oh, be sick, great greatness, and bid thy ceremony give thee cure. Think'st thou the fiery fever will go out with titles blown from adulation? Will it give place to flexure and low bending? Canst thou, when thou command'st the beggar's knee, command the health of it? No, thou proud dream that placed so subtly with the king's repose, I am a king that find thee. And I know 'tis not the balm, the sceptre and the ball, the sword, the mace, the crown imperial, the intertissued robes of gold and pearl, the farced title running for the king, the throne he sits on, nor the tide of pomp that beats upon the high shore of this world. No, not all these, thrice gorgeous ceremony, not all these, laid in bed majestical, can sleep so soundly as the wretched slave, who with a body filled and vacant mind gets him to rest, crammed with distressful bread, never sees horrid night, the child of hell, but like a lackey, from the rise to set, sweats in the eye of Phoebus, and all night sleeps in Elysium. Next day after dawn doth rise and help Hyperion to his horse, and follows so the ever-running year with profitable labor to his grave. And, but for ceremony, such a wretch, winding up days with toil and nights with sleep, had the forehand and vantage of a king. The slave, a member of the country's peace, enjoys it, but in gross brain little wots what watch the king keeps to maintain the peace, whose hours the peasant best advantages. O God of battles, steel my soldiers' hearts. Possess them not with fear. Take from them now the sense of reckoning, if the opposed numbers pluck their hearts from them. Not today, O Lord, oh, not today. Think not upon the fault my father made in compassing the crown. I, Richard's body, have interred anew, and on it have bestowed more contrite tears than from it issued forced drops of blood. 500 poor I have in yearly pay, who twice a day their withered hands hold up toward heaven to pardon blood. And I have built 2 chantries, where the sad and solemn priests sing still for Richard's soul. More will I do, though all that I can do is nothing worth, since that my penitence comes after all, imploring pardon.
This is from Henry IV, Part 2, in which he compares sleep and death.
Henry IV is the father of Henry V. At this point, Henry V is Prince Henry. And listen to how similar he is to his son in his thoughts about the crown's effect on the person who wears it.
How many thousand of my poorest subjects are at this hour asleep? Oh, sleep, oh, gentle sleep, nature's soft nurse, how have I frighted thee, that thou no more wilt weigh my eyelids down, and steep my senses in forgetfulness? Why rather sleep liest thou in smoky cribs, upon uneasy pallets stretching thee, and hushed with buzzing night flies to thy slumber, than in the perfumed chambers of the great, under the canopies of costly state, and lulled with sound of sweetest melody? O thou dull god, why liest thou with the vile in loathsome beds, and leavest the kingly couch a watch-case or a common larum bell? Wilt thou upon the high and giddy mast seal up the ship-boy's eyes, and rock his brains in cradle of the rude imperious surge and the visitation of the winds, who take the ruffian billows by the top, curling their monstrous heads and hanging them with deafening clamour in the slippery clouds that, with the hurly, death itself awakes? Canst thou, O partial sleep, give thy repose to the wet sea-boy in an hour so rude, and in the calmest and most stillest night, with all appliances and means to boot, deny it to a king? Then, happy low, lie down. Uneasy lies the head that wears a crown.
Later in Henry IV, Part 2, Henry IV lies dying in his bed with his crown sitting beside him on the pillow, and Prince Henry, soon to become Henry V, approaches him to spend some time with him, and he thinks the king is dead, and thinking that, he addresses the crown itself, upbraiding it for the ways it maligned his father. Sleep here is the sleep of death, at least presumably, and it gives us a chance to hear things that we might not otherwise hear. Prince Henry wouldn't be saying this if his father were awake, if he thought his father were alive. I will sit and watch here by the king. Why doth the crown lie there upon his pillow, being so troublesome a bedfellow? Oh, polished perturbation! Golden care, that keeps the ports of slumber open wide to many a watchful night. Sleep with it now! Yet not so sound and half so deeply sweet as he whose brow with homely big and bound snores out the watch of night. O majesty! When thou dost pinch thy bearer, thou dost sit like a rich armor worn in heat of day that scalds with safety. By his gates of breath there lies a downy feather which stirs not. Did he suspire, that light and weightless down perforce must move? My gracious lord! My father! This sleep is sound indeed. This is a sleep that from this golden wriggle hath divorced so many English kings. Prince Henry, believing his father is dead, leaves the room and takes the crown with him.
The prince hath ta'en it hence. Go, seek him out. Is he so hasty that he doth suppose my sleep my death? This part of his conjoins with my disease, and helps to end me. See, sons, what things you are, how quickly nature falls into revolt when gold becomes her object. For this the foolish, over-careful fathers have broke their sleep with thoughts, their brains with care, their bones with industry. For this they have engrossed and piled up the cankered heaps of strange achieved gold. For this they have been thoughtful to invest their sons with arts and martial exercises, when, like a bee, culling from every flower the virtuous sweets, our thighs packed with wax, our mouths with honey, we bring it to the hive, and, like the bees, are murdered for our pains. This bitter taste yield his engrossments to the ending father.
I never thought to hear you speak again.
Thy wish was father, Harry, to that thought. I stay too long by thee, I weary thee. Dost thou so hunger for mine empty chair that thou wilt needs invest thee with my honours before thy hour be ripe? O foolish youth, thou seekest the greatness that will overwhelm thee. Stay but a little, for my cloud of dignity is held from falling with so weak a wind that it will quickly drop. My day is dim. Thou hast stolen that which after some few hours were thine without offence, and at my death thou hast sealed up my expectation. Thy life did manifest thou lov'dst me not, and thou wilt have me die assured of it. Thou hidest 1,000 daggers in thy thoughts, which thou hast whetted on thy stony heart, to stab at half an hour of my life. What? Canst thou not forbear me half an hour? Then get thee gone, and dig my grave thyself, and bid the merry bells ring to thine ear that thou art crowned, not that I am dead. Let all the tears that should bedew my hearse be drops of balm to sanctify thy head. Only compound me with forgotten dust, give that which gave thee life unto the worms.
Oh, pardon me, my liege, but for my tears, the most impediments unto my speech I had forestalled, this dear and deep rebuke, ere you with grief had spoken, I had heard the course of it so far. There is your crown, and he that wears the crown immortally long guard it yours. If I affect it more than as your honour and as your renown, let me no more from this obedience rise, which my most inward, true, and duteous spirit teacheth, this prostrate and exterior bending. God witness with me, when I here came in, and found no course of breath within your majesty, how cold it struck my heart. If I do feign, oh, let me in my present wildness die, and never live to show the incredulous world the noble change that I have purposed. Coming to look on you, thinking you dead, and dead almost, my liege, to think you were, I spake unto this crown, as having sense, and thus upbraided it. The care on thee depending hath fed upon the body of my father, therefore thou best of gold art worst of gold. Other less fine and carat is more precious, preserving life in medicine potable, but thou, most fine, most honored, most renowned, hast eat thy bearer up.
And then, of course, there's Hamlet, who is very worried about sleep.
Hamlet is also thinking about the sleep of death, and he wonders something that we've all wondered probably at some point. Why do I deal with all the painful, wretched things in this life when I could just end it? The only answer he can give at this point, this comes in Act 2, so he's mired in the bleakest of his despair. The only answer he can think of is that what happens after death, which he compares to dreams, might be even worse. So we hang on to this life out of fear that our dreams, the dreams that come to us in the sleep of death, will be more unbearable still. To be or not to be, that is the question. Whether 'tis nobler in the mind to suffer the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune, or to take arms against a sea of troubles, and by opposing end them. To die, to sleep, no more, and by a sleep to say we end the heartache and the 1,000 natural shocks that flesh is heir to, 'tis a consummation devoutly to be wished. To die, to sleep, to sleep, perchance to dream. Aye, there's the rub, for in that sleep of death what dreams may come, when we have shuffled off this mortal coil, must give us pause. There's the respect that makes calamity of so long life. For who would bear the whips and scorns of time, the oppressor's wrong, the proud man's contumely, the pangs of despised love, the law's delay, the insolence of office, and the spurns that patient merit of the unworthy takes, when he himself might his quietus make with the bare bodkin? Who would fardels bear to grunt and sweat under a weary life, but that the dread of something after death, the undiscovered country from whose bourne no traveller returns, puzzles the will, and makes us rather bear those ills we have, than fly to others that we know not of. Thus conscience doth make cowards of us all, and thus the native hue of resolution is sicklied o'er with the pale cast of thought, and enterprises of great pith and moment with this regard their currents turn awry, and lose the name of action. This is Lady Anne in Richard III. Lady Anne introduces us to characters who can't sleep or who have trouble sleeping. This is almost always a sign in Shakespeare of guilty consciences at work. The effects of that lack of sleep become even more apparent in the next set of scenes. But for now, this is Lady Anne talking about her husband, Richard III, who is portrayed to be a completely evil, heartless man.
When he that is my husband now came to me, as I followed Henry's course, when scarce the blood was well washed from his hands, which issued from my other angel husband, and that dead saint, which then I weeping followed, oh, when, I say, I looked on Richard's face, this was my wish. Be thou, quoth I, accursed, for making me so young, so old a widow, and, when thou weddest, let sorrow haunt thy bed, and be thy wife, if any be so mad, as miserable by the life of thee as thou hast made me by my dear Lord's death. Lo, ere I can repeat this curse again, even in so short a space, my woman's heart grossly grew captive to his honeyed words, and proved the subject of my own soul's curse, which ever since hath kept my eyes from rest, for never yet 1 hour in his bed have I enjoyed the golden dew of sleep, but have been waked by his timorous dreams. Besides, he hates me for my father Warwick, and will no doubt shortly be rid of me.
Next is one of the dreams that wakes Richard III. This is the night before the ultimate battle where Richard loses and gets killed. He dreams of the ghosts of all the people he's had killed throughout the play coming to visit him, and they all say death and despair. That's what they wish on him. And despair, interestingly enough, is the worst sin that one can commit. In the Christian worldview of this time, because to despair means to give up all hope. And if you believe there's a God that has a plan, then there is always hope, because the bad things that are happening are part of his plan. But if you think there's no hope, by inference, you think there's no God. Right? So they're wishing on Richard the most terrible thing they can think of. Out of this, we hear almost the first pangs of conscience that Richard ever has, and sadly they're far too little and far too late. Give me another horse! Bind up my wounds! Have mercy, Jesu! Soft, I did but dream. Oh, coward conscience, how dost thou afflict me! The lights burn blue. It is now dead midnight. Cold, fearful drops stand on my trembling flesh. What do I fear? Myself? There's none else by. Richard loves Richard. That is, I am I. Is there a murderer here? No. Yes, I am. Then fly. What, from myself? Great reason why, lest I revenge. What, myself upon myself? Alack, I love myself. Wherefore? For any good that I myself have done unto myself? Oh, no. Alas, I rather hate myself for hateful deeds committed by myself. I am a villain. Yet I lie. I am not. Fool, of thyself speak well. Fool, do not flatter. My conscience hath 1,000 several tongues, and every tongue brings in a several tale, and every tale condemns me for a villain. Perjury, perjury in the highest degree. Murder, stern murder in the direst degree. All several sins, all used in each degree, throng to the bar, crying all, guilty, guilty. I shall despair. There is no creature loves me, and if I die, no soul shall pity me. Nay, wherefore should they, since that I myself find in myself no pity to myself? Methought the souls of all that I had murdered came to my tent, and every one did threat tomorrow's vengeance on the head of Richard. This is Macbeth considering the murder of his king.
And I'll be reading Lady Macbeth.
Macbeth and his wife, Lady Macbeth, are probably the best examples of those who are kept awake by conscience. Macbeth and his wife plot to murder their king so Macbeth can become king himself. And this is carried out, but while he's carrying it out, Macbeth imagines he hears someone crying. Macbeth has murdered sleep, and he is thus cursed never to sleep again, and we see him slowly degenerating into madness, as does his wife. And how much of this, we have to wonder, is simply their sleepless state, and how much of this is symbolic for the sort of more general degeneracy of the soul. Is this a dagger which I see before me, the handle toward my hand? Come, let me clutch thee. I have thee not, and yet I see thee still. Art thou not, fatal vision, sensible to feeling as to sight? Or art thou but a dagger of the mind, a false creation, proceeding from the heat-oppressed brain? I see thee yet, in form as palpable as this which now I draw. Thou marshalst me the way that I was going, and such an instrument I was to use. Mine eyes are made the fools of the other senses, or else worth all the rest. I see thee still, and on thy blade and dudgeon gouts of blood, which was not so before. There's no such thing. It is the bloody business which informs thus to my eyes. Now, o'er the one half-world nature seems dead, and wicked dreams abuse the curtained sleep. Witchcraft celebrates pale Hecate's offerings, and withered murder, alarmed by his sentinel the wolf, whose howls his watch thus with his stealthy pace, with Tarquin's ravishing strides, toward his design, moves like a ghost. Thou sure and firm-set earth, hear not my steps, which way they walk, for fear thy very stones prate of my whereabout, and take the present horror from the time which now suits with it. Whiles I threat he lives, words to the heat of deeds too cold breath gives. I go, and it is done. The bell invites me. Hear it not, Duncan, for it is a knell that summons thee to heaven or to hell.
That which hath made them drunk hath made me bold. What hath quenched them hath given me fire. Hark, peace. It was the owl that shrieked, the fatal bellman which gives the sternest good night. He is about it. The doors are open, and the surfeited grooms do mock their charge with snores. I have drugged their possets, that death and nature do contend about them, whether they live or die.
Who's there? What ho!
Alack, I am afraid they have awakened, and 'tis not done. The attempt, and not the deed, confounds us. Hark, I laid their daggers ready. He could not miss them. Had he not resembled my father as he slept, I had done it. My husband.
I have done the deed. Didst thou not hear a noise?
I heard the owl scream and the crickets cry. Did not you speak?
When?
Now.
As I descended?
Aye.
Hark! Who lies in the second chamber?
Donalbain.
This is a sorry sight.
A foolish thought to say a sorry sight.
There's one did laugh in sleep, and one cried, Murder! That they did wake each other. I stood and heard them, but they did say their prayers and addressed them again to sleep.
There are two lodged together.
One cried, God bless us, and Amen. The other, as they had seen me with these hangmen's hands. Listening their fear, I could not say Amen, when they did say God bless us.
Consider it not so deeply.
But wherefore could I not pronounce Amen? I had most need of blessing, and Amen stuck in my throat.
These deeds must not be thought after these ways, so it will make us mad.
Methought I heard a voice cry, Sleep no more, Macbeth does murder sleep. The innocent sleep, sleep that knits up the ravelled sleeve of care, the death of each day's life, sore labour's bath, balm of hurt minds, great nature's second course, chief nourisher in life's feast.
What do you mean?
Still it cried, Sleep no more, to all the house. Glamis hath murdered sleep, and therefore Cawdor shall sleep no more. Macbeth shall sleep no more.
Who was it that thus cried? Why, worthy Thane, you do unbend your noble strength to think so brain-sickly of things. Go, get some water, and wash this filthy witness from your hand. Why did you bring these daggers from the place? They must lie there. Go, carry them, and smear the sleepy grooms with blood.
I'll go no more. I am afraid to think what I have done. Look on't again I dare not.
Infirm of purpose, give me the daggers. The sleeping and the dead are but as pictures. This the eye of childhood that fears a painted devil. If he do bleed, I'll gild the faces of the grooms withal, for it must seem their guilt.
Whence is that knocking? How is't with me, when every noise appalls me? What hands are here? Ha! They pluck out mine eyes. Will all great Neptune's ocean wash this blood clean from my hand? No, this my hand will rather the multitudinous seas in incarnadine make the green one red.
My hands are of your colour, but I shame to wear a heart so white. I hear a knocking at the south entry. Retire we to our chamber. A little water clears us of this deed. How easy it is, then! Your constancy hath left you unattended. Hark, more knocking! Get on your nightgown, lest occasion call us, and show us to be watchers. Be not lost so poorly in your thoughts.
To know my deed, 'twere best not know myself. Wake Duncan with thy knocking, I would thou couldst.
My royal lord, you do not give the cheer. The feast is sold that is not often vouched. While 'tis a making, 'tis given with welcome. To feed were best at home. From thence the sauce to meat is ceremony. Meeting were bare without it.
Sweet remembrancer, Now good digestion weighed on appetite, and health on both. Here had we now our country's honour roofed, were the graced person of our Banquo present, who may I rather challenge for unkindness than pity for mischance. Banquo's ghost enters. Thou canst not say I did it. Never shake thy gory locks at me.
Sit, worthy friends. My lord is often thus, and hath been from his youth. Pray you, keep seat. The fit is momentary. Upon a thought he will again be well. If much you note him, you shall offend him, and extend his passion, feed and regard him not. Are you a man?
Ay, and a bold one, that dare look on that which might appall the devil.
Oh, proper stuff. This is the very painting of your fear. This is the air-drawn dagger which you said led you to Duncan. Oh, these flaws and starts, impostors to true fear, would well become a woman's story at a winter's fire, authorized by her grandame. Shame itself. Why do you make such faces, when all's done you look but on a stool?
Prithee, see there. Behold, look, lo, how say you? Why, what care I? If thou canst nod, speak too. If charnel houses and our graves must send those that we bury back, our monuments shall be the maws of kites.
Banquo leaves. What, quite unmanned in folly?
If I stand here, I saw him.
Fie, for shame.
Blood hath been shed ere now, in the olden time, ere human statute purged the gentle wheel. Ay, and since 2 murders have been performed, too terrible for the ear. The times have been that when the brains were out, the man would die, and there an end. But now they rise again with 20 mortal murders on their crowns, and push us from our stools. This is more strange than such a murder is.
My worthy lord, your noble friends do lack you.
I do forget. Do not muse at me, my most worthy friends. I have a strange infirmity, which is nothing to those that know me. Come, love and health to all, then I'll sit down. Give me some wine, fill full. I drink to the general joy of the whole table, and to our dear friend Banquo, whom we miss. Would he were here. To all, and him, we thirst, and all to all. Avaunt, and quit my sight! Let the earth hide thee! Thy bones are marrowless, thy blood is cold. Thou hast no speculation in those eyes which thou dost glare with.
Think of this, good peers, but as a thing of custom, 'tis no other, only it spoils the pleasure of the time.
What man dare, I dare. Approach thou like the rugged Russian bear, the armed rhinoceros, or the Hircan tiger. Take any shape but that, and my firm nerves shall never tremble, or be alive again. And dare me to the desert with thy sword. If trembling I inhabit, then protest me the baby of a girl. Hence, horrible shadow, unreal mockery, hence! Banquo vanishes again. Why so? Being gone, I am a man again. Pray you, sit still.
You have displaced the mirth, broke the good meeting with most admired disorder.
Can such things be and overcome us like a summer's cloud without our special wonder? You make me strange even to the disposition that I owe, when now I think you can behold such sights and keep the natural ruby of your cheeks, when mine is blanched with fear.
I pray you, speak not. He grows worse and worse. Question enrages him. At once, good night. Stand not upon the order of your going, but go at once. A kind good night to all.
It will have blood, they say. Blood will have blood. Stones have been known to move and trees to speak. Augurs and understood relations have by maggot pies and choughs and rooks brought forth the secret man of blood. What is the night?
Almost at odds with morning, which is which?
How say'st thou that Macduff denies his person at our great bidding?
Did you send to him, sir?
I hear it by the way, but I will send. There's not a one of them but in his house I keep a servant feed. I will tomorrow, and betimes I will to the weird sisters. More shall they speak, for now I am bent to know by the worst means the worst. For mine own good all causes shall give way. I am in blood stepped in so far that, should I wait no more, returning were as tedious as go o'er. Strange things I have in head that will to hand, which must be acted, ere they may be scanned.
You lack the season of all natures, sleep.
Come, will to sleep. My strange and self-abuse is the initiate fear that wants hard use. We are yet but young indeed. In this scene I'll be the doctor, and Mom continues Lady Macbeth. Since his majesty went into the field, I have seen the lady rise from her bed, throw her nightgown upon her, unlock her closet, take forth paper, fold it, write upon't, read it, afterwards seal it, and again return to bed. Yet all this while in a most fast sleep. A great perturbation in nature to receive at once the benefit of sleep, and, in this slumbery agitation, do the effects of watching. Lo, here she comes. This is her very guise, and, upon my life, fast asleep. She has light by her continually, 'tis her command. Her eyes are open, aye, but their sense is shut. How she rubs her hands! It is an accustomed action with her to seem thus washing her hands. I have known her continue in this a quarter of an hour.
Yet here's a spot. Out, damned spot! Out, I say. 1, 2. Why then, 'tis time to toot. Hell is murky. Fie, my lord, fie! A soldier and afeard? What need we fear? Who knows it, when none can call our power to account? Yet who would have thought the old man to have had so much blood in him? The Thane of Fife had a wife. Where is she now? What will these hands ne'er be clean? No more of that, my lord, no more of that. You mar all with this starting. Here's the smell of the blood still. All the perfumes of Arabia will not sweeten this little hand. Oh, oh, oh.
What a sigh is there! The heart is sorely charged. I would not have such a heart in my bosom for the dignity of the whole body. This disease is beyond my practice, yet I have known those which have walked in their sleep, who have died holily in their beds.
Wash your hands, put on your nightgown, look not so pale. I tell you yet again, Banquo's buried, he cannot come out on's grave. To bed, to bed, there's knocking at the gate. Come, give me your hand. What's done cannot be undone. To bed, to bed, to bed.
Foul whisperings are abroad. Unnatural deeds do breed unnatural troubles. Infected minds to their deaf pillows will discharge their secrets. More needs she the divine than the physician. God forgive us all. My mind she has mated and amazed my sight. I think but dare not speak. In this scene, Mom will be Macbeth's steward and then a messenger. Hang out our banners on the outward walls. The cry is still, they come. Our castle's strength will laugh a siege to scorn. Here let them lie till famine and the ague eat them up. Were they not forced with those that should be ours, we might have met them dareful, beard to beard, and beat them backward home. What is that noise?
It is the cry of women, my good lord.
I have almost forgot the taste of fears. The time has been my senses would have cooled to hear a night shriek, and my fell of hair would at a dismal treatise rouse and stir as life were in't. I have supped full with horrors. Direness, familiar to my slaughterous thoughts, cannot once start me. Wherefore was that cry?
The queen, my lord, is dead.
She should have died hereafter. There would have been a time for such a word. Tomorrow, and tomorrow, and tomorrow creeps in this petty pace from day to day to the last syllable of recorded time. And all our yesterdays have lighted fools the way to dusty death. Out, out, brief candle! Life's but a walking shadow, a poor player that struts and frets his hour upon the stage and then is heard no more. It is a tale told by an idiot, full of sound and fury, signifying nothing. Messenger, thou comest to use thy tongue, thy story, quickly.
Gracious my lord, I should report that which I say I saw, but know not how to do it.
Well say, sir.
As I did stand my watch upon the hill, I looked toward Burnham, and anon methought the wood began to move.
Liar and slave!
Let me endure your wrath, if it be not so. Within this 3 mile may you see it coming, I say, a moving grove.
If thou speak'st false, upon the next tree shalt thou hang alive till famine cling thee. If thy speech be sooth, I care not if thou dost for me as much. I pull in resolution and begin to doubt the equivocation of the fiend that lies like truth. Fear not till Burnham Wood do come to Dunsinane. And now a wood comes toward Dunsinane. Arm, arm, and out! If this which he avouches does appear, there is nor flying hence nor tarrying here. I gin to be a-weary of the sun, and wish the estate of the world were now undone. Ring the alarm bell! Blow, wind! Come, rack! At least we'll die with harness on our back. We come to another leader who has the murder of a king on his conscience. This is Brutus from Julius Caesar, who conspired in the Liberator plot to murder Caesar, who technically wasn't a king, he was a consul, but same idea. This is after Caesar's death. Brutus and his inner circle are waging war against the forces loyal to Caesar, and they're in their tent before a battle. Brutus drifts off to sleep himself and is visited by his own ghost, the ghost of Caesar. I'll be Brutus.
I'll be Cassius first, and then Lucius. Cassius doesn't have a big part.
Under your pardon, you must note beside that we have tried the utmost of our friends. Our legions are brimful, our cause is ripe, the enemy increaseth every day. We at the height are ready to decline. There is a tide in the affairs of men which, taken at the flood, leads on to fortune. Omitted, all the voyage of their life is bound in shallows and in miseries. On such a full sea are we now afloat, and we must take the current when it serves, or lose our ventures. The deep of night is crept upon our talk, and nature must obey necessity. Which will we niggard with a little rest? There is no more to say? Lucius, my gown. Farewell, good Messala, good night, Titinius, noble, noble Cassius, good night, and good repose.
Oh, my dear brother, there was an ill beginning of the night. Never comes such division between our souls. Let it not, Brutus.
Everything is well.
Good night, my lord.
Good night, good brother. Lucius, give me the gown. Where is thy instrument?
Here, in the tent.
What, thou speakst drowsily? Poor knave, I blame thee not. Thou art o'erwatched. Call Claudius and some other of my men. I'll have them sleep on cushions in my tent.
Varro and Claudius?
Lie down, good sirs. It may be I shall otherwise bethink me. Look, Lucius, here's the book I sought for so. I put it in the pocket of my gown.
I was sure your lordship did not give it me.
Bear with me, good boy. I am much forgetful. Canst thou hold up thy heavy eyes a while, and touch thy instrument a strain or two?
Ay, my lord, an't please you.
It does, my boy. I trouble thee too much, but thou art willing.
It is my duty, sir.
I should not urge thy duty past thy might. I know young bloods look for a time of rest.
I have slept, my lord, already.
It was well done, and thou shalt sleep again. I will not hold thee long. If I do live, I will be good to thee. This is a sleepy tune. O murderous slumber, lay'st thou thy leaden mace upon my boy that plays thee music? Gentle knave, good night. I will not do thee so much wrong to wake thee. If thou dost nod, thou break'st thy instrument. I'll take it from thee. And, good boy, good night. Let me see. Is not the leaf turned down where I left reading? Here it is, I think. Enter Caesar's ghost. How ill this taper burns! Ha! Who comes there? I think it is the weakness of mine eyes that shapes this monstrous apparition. It comes upon me. Art thou anything? Art thou some god, some angel, or some devil, that makes my blood cold and my hair to stare? Speak to me, what thou art.
Thy evil spirit, Brutus.
Why comest thou?
To tell thee thou shalt see me at Philippi.
Well, then I shall see thee again.
Aye, at Philippi.
Why, I will see thee at Philippi then. Caesar's ghost exits. Now I have taken heart, thou vanishest, ill spirit. I would hold more talk with thee. Boy, Lucius, Pharaoh, Claudius, sirs, awake. Claudius!
The strings, my lord, are false.
He thinks he still is at his instrument. Lucius, awake.
My lord?
Didst thou dream, Lucius, that thou so criedst out?
My lord, I do not know that I did cry.
Yes, that thou didst. Didst thou see anything?
Nothing, my lord.
Sleep again, Lucius. Sirrah Claudius, go and commend me to my brother Cassius. Bid him set on his powers betime before, and we will follow. We come back to Richard III. This is Clarence, who's one of Richard's brothers, who very early in the play Richard sets up, and he has another brother who's the king at the time, King Edward, throw Clarence into prison, where Richard will later send assassins to kill Clarence. So Clarence is speaking from the Tower of London, from his prison, and he has a prophetic dream. I'll be Clarence, Mom will be Brakenbury. Oh, I have passed a miserable night, so full of ugly sights, of ghastly dreams, that, as I am a Christian faithful man, I would not spend another such night, though 'twere to buy a world of happy days. So full of dismal terror was the time.
What was your dream? I long to hear you tell it.
Methoughts that I had broken from the tower and was embarked to cross the Burgundy, and in my company my brother Gloucester, who from my cabin tempted me to walk upon the hatches. Thence we looked toward England, and sighted upon 1,000 fearful times during the wars of York and Lancaster that had befallen us. As we paced along upon the giddy footing of the hatches, methought that Gloucester stumbled, and, in falling, struck me, that thought to stay him, overboard, into the tumbling billows of the main. Lord, Lord, methought, what pain it was to drown! What dreadful noise of waters in mine ears! What ugly sights of death within mine eyes! Methought I saw 1,000 fearful wrecks, 10,000 men that fishes gnawed upon, wedges of gold, great anchors, heaps of pearl, inestimable stones, unvalued jewels, all scattered in the bottom of the sea. Some lay in dead men's skulls, and in those holes where eyes did once inhabit, there were crept, as 'twere in scorn of eyes, reflecting gems, which wooed the slimy bottom of the deep, and mocked the dead bones that lay scattered by.
Had you such leisure in the time of death to gaze upon the secrets of the deep?
Methought I had, and often did I strive to yield the ghost, but still the envious flood kept in my soul, and would not let it forth to seek the empty vast and wandering air, but smothered it within my panting bulk, which almost burst to belch it in the sea.
Awakened you are not with this sore agony?
Oh, no, my dream was lengthened after life. Oh, then began the tempest to my soul, who passed, methought, the melancholy flood with that grim ferryman which poets write of, unto the kingdom of perpetual night. The first that there did greet my stranger soul was my great father-in-law, renowned Warwick, who cried aloud, "What scourge for perjury can this dark monarchy afford, false Clarence?" And so he vanished. Then came wandering by a shadow like an angel, with bright hair dabbled in blood, and he squeaked out aloud, "Clarence is coming, false, fleeting, perjured Clarence, that stabbed me in the field by Tewkesbury. Seize on him, furies, take him to your torments." With that, methoughts, a legion of foul fiends environed about me, and howled in mine ears such hideous cries, that with the very noise I trembling waked, and for a season after could not believe but that I was in hell, such terrible impression made the dream.
No marvel, my lord, though it affrighted you. I promise I am afraid to hear you tell it.
Oh, Brakenbury, I have done those things which now bear evidence against my soul, for Edward's sake, and see how he requites me. Oh, God, if my deep prayers cannot appease thee, but thou wilt be avenged on my misdeeds, yet execute thy wrath in me alone. Oh, spare my guiltless wife and my poor children. I pray thee, gentle keeper, stay by me. My soul is heavy, and I fain would sleep. So we'll wrap up here. In part 2, we'll look at the way lovers sleep. So thank you very much, Mom.
Thank you.
This is Our Brief Hour. Thank you for listening. Tune in next week for part 2. Have a great Friday and a great weekend. Take care.